Hi Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your June 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Okay. Let's just see our chakra energy and the energy we need to be mindful of. So how will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides. These two right here. And then what energy does Aquarius need to be mindful of during the June 2021 full moon? What is the energy that Aquarius needs to be mindful of during the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So I guess we'll turn these both over. We have the moon, which is Pisces energy, and then we have the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra coming through. Okay, so at our root, at the bottom right here is our root itself. On the left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what they have to say. We have the 10 of Swords and the Queen of Swords. I like that. I like that a lot. Even though the 10 of Swords is intense, it's the darkness before the dawn. It is the realization of why the bad things have happened to us. Maybe not the explicit written out, like this is the reason why, but it's being able to arm ourselves after a hard time, after one might say even a horrific time. And the Queen of Swords, that represents us. We are represented by the queens in the minor arcana. We are represented by the star in the major arcana. And this is us stepping into our power. And she's the warrior queen. So we have that potential within us to be the warriors that we really want to be. In our inner self, we have the King of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, connecting us with the full moon in Capricorn on the 24th of June. The full moon is in Aquarius, which is our rooted energy right here, and also our sign on the 23rd of July. So that's going to be intense. And then we have the 10 of Wands. The repeat of the number 10 shows that we have come to the end of a cycle, passionately, intellectually, or mentally and passionately. Our emotional self. We have the Strength card, which represents Leo energy, time frame July 23rd to August 22nd, and we have the 8 of Wands. Things start to move very, very quickly as we claim our strength, as we know what it is that we desire, as we are focused, as we open up these doors, and we're seriously opening up doors for ourselves. And then we have the public arena. We have the 7 of Wands. Okay, so we feel like we have to fight. We feel like we have to defend ourselves, fight, move forward in a very certain way, and the 3 of Swords. And that makes sense why we feel like we have to fight, because the heartbreaks, the pains, the disappointments are coming up. And we're thinking, is this it? Like, is my life just going to be heartbreak after heartbreak? Fight after fight, battle after battle. And sometimes it feels like the battles never end. It really does. It feels like once we're put into a situation where things start getting chaotic, there's... what is it? Is it the Peter principle? To which much is given, much is expected type of thing. And then when we start to slip, it's like the downward fall is astoundingly quick too. So the rise can be quick and the fall can be quick. And that can be what we're experiencing here in the public arena. Not that we're falling. That's not what Spirit is saying at all. But that we are afraid that everything will start to fall. That everything will start to fall apart, and that we will not be able to move forward the way that we want to, the way that we really desire. So during this time, it's intense. Now, this is partly because we have the conflict of the Sun in Cancer and the Moon in Capricorn. So this creates conflict, and it always brings us to the fact that if we surrender to the divine during the moon, power comes, meaning that when the moon becomes full, we see the fullness within our lives. We see what is illuminating us within the darkness to move forward. We see how we connect to whatever form of spirituality or religion we believe in. And then the full moon in Capricorn comes forward. And it says the end of a tough cycle is approaching, which is absolutely beautiful. Who doesn't want a tough cycle to approach, to come forward, to lead us out of darkness? But the end of the tough cycle is approaching because we're faced with the conflicts that are brought up by the Sun in Cancer and the Moon in Capricorn. The Sun in Cancer is all about our private lives, our home, and nurturing. Capricorn is all about our public lives, career, and responsibilities. And what comes forward during this time is the battle between conditional and unconditional love, which can sound harsh. Like, who doesn't want unconditional love? But sometimes having unconditional love with no consequences is not a good thing. So we have to find this balance here between what is yes and what is no, between what we stand for and what we won't stand for. And this brings us to a place that we can feel scared, we can feel overwhelmed, but we also want to nurture that which is most sacred to us. And as we are trying to nurture and embracing that which is most sacred to us, we still want to focus on our goals and go after what we achieve, which can be troublesome because most of the time that which is most sacred to us needs introspection, needs guidance of the heart and the soul and the passion and the self and the desires. So we have to be mindful of this during this time. Cancer calls to our values, our roots, and our home. Okay? Cancer calls to us, to our values, yes, but to what we value with our roots and our home. And Capricorn calls us to what we value within duty, public and personal responsibilities. And so we have to be very mindful of this during this time. Cancer is the beginnings and the roots. So we want to look at our rooted self. What are we drawn to during this time? Are we very interested in our family history? Are we very interested in history in and of itself? Are we expecting it to be perfect? Are we going to accept that history is messy and ugly, and that one day people will look back at the lives that our world lived and see it as messy and ugly and judge us wantingly? There's going to be a lot of power here. There's going to be a lot of insight. There's going to be a lot of wisdom that moves forward. Capricorn is about our goals. What do we want? As we look at the beginnings and all the beginnings that we have, all the different ways that we transform, and that's what comes up with the 10 of Swords, all the different ways that we transform, all the different ways that we gain understanding. Do we see what roots us? Do we see what guides us? Do we see what we love and what we want? Something has been building in us for a very long time, and this is true for every single sign. Something very big has been building in each and every one of us. And this moon is demanding that it be let out. For some, you're going to see that they let it out. They let themselves be guided forward. For others, they will not let it out. It will not be something that they think is smart to do, safe to do, or they cannot even realize what their souls are seeking. So we have to know that everybody's going to be very intertwined with their own journey, their own self, their own introspection. This can be a time where we feel a little bit ignored, Aquarius, but we're not. Everybody's, well, no, maybe actually we are, but everybody's going to be a bit ignored during this time because they're going to be going after their goals and their dreams. This will be an emotional time, but this will also be a profound time of revelations guiding us forward. It leads us to the new moon in Cancer, and this is on the 10th of July. Now, the new moon always brings beginnings and a new start. It's coming, always. It signifies profound possibilities. And because Cancer connects us to beginnings, the new moon is going to be very exciting for us because both the new moon itself, and the sun energy are in Cancer. So we have that coming forward. And as this brings beginnings, it says you and your loved ones are safe. It brings us to a place where we need to know those for which we care about are safe, secure, taken care of, nurtured. And as we take in this energy of I need things to be secure, I need the beginnings to have a heart to them, to have emotion to them, but I also need them to be focused on my goals, on what I desire, on what I want, what I need, and where I need to be individually, but also in a collective group. Because remember, human beings, as much as we love the idea of the lone wolf, that's a dangerous rarity. Wolves are not meant to live by themselves, just as human beings are not meant to live by themselves. We have an epidemic of loneliness. We have an epidemic of spiritual vacancy within people, within desires, within hopes, and within dreams. And that is something that needs to be connected with. Spirit is saying that's part of what this channel is all about, connecting us with our own spiritual energy, our own spiritual understanding, to be able to open up the door, to be able to say, well, this is how this works into my life. This is how this guides me forward. And it leads us to the full moon in Aquarius, which Aquarius is going to be uncomfortable for everybody, but it's going to be uncomfortable for you in particular because it is your sign. It calls to you, and it kind of calls you out. As whenever the moon is in Capricorn, the moon in Capricorn is calling Capricorn out. Whenever the moon is in a certain sign, it calls us out. And with the full moon in Aquarius on the 23rd of July, it says, show the world the real you. And that is a dangerous thing to do. It is dangerous to say, this is who I truly am, unapologetically. It is dangerous to be fully aligned with ourselves and our desires and our hopes and our dreams and our wishes, or be walking down that road, to have that intensity, to have that power, to have that understanding coming in. But this is what this moon is setting us up for. It's having the conflict of the heart and the waking world. It's having the conflict of the inner self and the public self coming forward. If we can resolve that conflict, by the time we get to the 23rd of July, we can show the world who we truly are. We can say, this is me, this is what I desire, this is what I long for, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is how I'm moving forward. It brings us to our chakra energy, which is here, the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. The sacral chakra is flexibility. And flexibility is important because in the sacral chakra, we hold the energy of this life and past lives. So the sacral chakra is interesting. It holds our creative energy, it holds our sexual energy, but it also holds the blockages from this life and past lives, which is a lot for that energy force to hold. We need to be able to move and bend with it, be able to come to realizations, empowerment, insights, ideas. We need to be flexible with the pain that we carry from this life, from past lives, from past generational traumas, from hurts and from pains, to see where we stand and how we can move within the breeze. How deep are our roots and what do we desire? This is a stance of wisdom and calling wisdom forward. Are we calling wisdom in our lives? Are we looking at that wisdom and living by that wisdom? Or are we being held back? With self-mastery, the solar plexus chakra, we're going to start to see ourselves coming into alignment with what we want, with what we desire, with what we need, with what we wish for. we are coming into alignment with who we are and where it is that we want to be. It brings us then to what we fear during this time and the energy we are to be mindful of, and that is fear itself. We fear the power that this moon brings. We can fear the power of the moon. We can be very moon sensitive, and whenever the moon comes around, the full moon comes around, or the new moon, we can just be walloped by it. We have to be aware of the phases and the expressions of our emotions, of the subconscious and conscious self, of what we desire and what we want and what we need, of where it is that we want to be and how it is that we want to move forward. The moon calls us to fear. It is the darkness, which is what we innately fear. We are not sight hunters. Well, we are sight hunters, but we cannot see in the dark. So we fear the moon. We fear the light being diminished. We also fear the reflections, the introspections that the moon brings us, that we, experience at night. We're going to fear people who are questioning, who are seeking, who are thinking differently. And we have to be very mindful because this world right now is very much afraid of those who think different or who question. And we have to stop that. Like, words are power, ideas are power, whether they be ridiculous or whether they be brilliant. We can't have brilliant ideas if we don't let there be ridiculous ones. We just can't. Genius is also seen as insanity by those who aren't ready for it. Just think of Galileo. So come on. Here, we are also going to be drawn to those who look at fear, who kind of touch the flame of it. We have to be mindful to touch the flame of it, to look at it, to see it, and not be consumed by it. It'll be very easy, Aquarius, to be consumed by fear. The Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is every single year a different sword being plunged into us. It could be 10 days. It could be we had a really rough 10 days, a rough 10 months. These are lessons. Heartbreaking, harsh lessons. And it brought us to our knees. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a person laying flat on the ground with 10 swords stabbed into them. It's overkill. It can be that we're beating a dead horse, quite literally. Well, not quite literally, but very much figuratively. That we're taking something that was wrong, we're taking something that was chaotic, we're taking something that was out of our control, and we're going over and over and over and over it, and we're not letting ourselves have peace. But we also have to see that there's a wisdom, that there's a wealth of knowledge from what we have experienced, even if it's horrific. We were left different because of it. And we should take the swords, because the swords are a symbol of wealth. They are a symbol of nobility. They are a symbol of power. And now they become part of our arsenal. Just remember, especially in medieval times, people did not leave weapons on the battlefield. After a battle was had, people would go out and scavenge and take the weapons that they found. This is a time where we rise from the darkness and we take the weapons that were in us and we use them to our advantage. And it brings us to the Queen of Swords. It is us. Here we have the universe on the strings. If we conquer our mind, we will be the puppeteer. We will be able to see and to understand so much more clearly than everybody else. The warrior queen is so, because this is the only weapon within the tarot. Yes, the wands were used to teach the swords. Before you learned the sword, okay, you had to practice with the wand. We had to practice with the staff, because you don't want to be able to slice your opponent in half when you're still going to break each other's fingers. It is a sign of skill. It is a sign of talent. It is a sign of hours upon hours upon hours of practice to be able to use a sword well. It is exhausting, and it takes profound endurance. To be the Queen of Swords is to conquer a weapon, a phallic symbol, a sense of masculine energy. And the Queen of Swords usually has a certain element of masculine energy to her. She's probably the most masculine of the queens. So it's the most masculine of the feminine energy. Women can be just as mean as men, if not more so, just as, you could say that about anybody. But there's a certain way that women fight, and there's a certain way that men fight, and one might say one is nastier than the other, and it doesn't really matter. What we're going to see here is an intensity of insight and ideas. We're going to see that we're willing to stand up for what we believe in or what we want, or even if we say, okay, that's great, that's your opinion, that's awesome. We're going to still keep ours. we're still going to be determined to move forward in the way that we need to be, in the way that we want to be. The Queen of Swords cuts through the nonsense, the doubts, the fears, and the chaos, and moves forward in a logical line for her. It doesn't have to be logic for anybody else. It moves us to the Ten of Wands. We're tired. We're tired of being burdened with so many responsibilities that all we see is the dirt on our shoes. And we have to be very mindful of this during this moon, because Capricorn is all about responsibilities. Duties, responsibilities, what needs to be done, needs to be done. And you know what? Sometimes unconditional love is foolish. To say, I love you, I trust you unconditionally, you could never hurt me, is a foolish thing. Because there are many different ways that people can hurt us. There are many different ways that we can be burdened with more responsibilities, and that people will not carry their loads. During this moon, what we need to do is we need to understand, to trust, but still be wise about it. Still be knowledgeable. Still be powerful about the trust that we give. And the people who earned it and the people who don't. This is a time where we're taking off the burdens that we carry. And we're looking at them one by one and saying why and how come. And why am I carrying this? And how am I carrying this? And where am I carrying this to? And what is it for? And then it brings us to the King of Pentacles. As we light our fire, as we embrace our passion, as we look at what we want, the King of Pentacles is prosperity and success and bounty, grown and nurtured. This is a sense of, I'm connecting with this moon. I want to see what I can develop, what needs my attention, needs to be cared for, needs to be looked after, and how I move it forward. The wind erodes the earth, right? But it also takes away the soil and brings new soil. So there's a regeneration that happens, okay? But there's also an erosion that happens. During this time, as we're planting, we are taking away a level of soil that does not hold any nutrients to us or for us, does not give anything to us. The King of Pentacles is prosperous. The King of Pentacles is abundant, and that's inwardly what we feel. It's like, if I can release something, I can start to see my prosperity. Now, this isn't saying I don't want to take care of things. Take care of yourself. I'm a firm believer in responsibilities. We have to carry the burdens that we were given and look at how to lead our life forward and go after what we desire. The Ten of Wands is saying we're carrying too much. Is it too much mentally? Is it too much physically? Is it that we're not giving ourselves time to heal and rejuvenate? Do we need to sleep more? How is it that we are being overburdened? And how is it that we can help repair ourselves? The King of Pentacles, prosperity and success, comes to us as we start to look at things and as we start to kind of call ourselves out. And it brings us to the Strength card. The fact that she is petting and looking inside a lion's mouth is not necessarily the smartest thing in the world to do. But it takes strength. Strength of personality, strength of character, courage, foolishness, one might even say. And this is a time where we're going to learn that strength isn't what necessarily we are sold. It isn't brute force strength. It isn't you will listen to me because. It is kind, compassionate strength that comes from love and respect. It's like Esme, okay? My dog, which you guys helped save so much. So thank you all so much. It's still moving to me. With the Strength card, she's a giant dog, okay? She's like 125 pounds or some ridiculous number like that. It's love and trust that has her following, that has her connecting with the world, because she could be a menace if she wanted to be. And that's what we see here with the lion and the woman. We see that which can be overpowering through love and compassion becoming an integral part of our lives, an integral part of ourselves. And that's going to be very important. During this time, it is the strength to love, the strength to heal, the strength to trust, that is so important to us. And it leads us on this journey. It leads us in this way of just moving forward and transforming and becoming more. And we're thinking, oh my goodness, how do I hang on? How do I hang on for this ride? We are living our eternity through strength. Because here's the thing, especially if we remain kind in this world, we can go through moments where we are frustrated and angry and not kind at all. But if we can remain kind, keep our humanity, keep our love for people, no matter who they are, or what they look like, what they do, if we can see that spark of divinity in them and help them to see the spark of divinity within us, because we don't know where they are in their journey. That takes tremendous strength to know that we will meet people who aren't involved in their journey, who aren't going to be moving forward, who can't see past their own nose. And strength is going to be the thing that leads us forward, that sweeps us up and takes us away. Our heart is called to be strong, because things will come at us during this time that are overwhelming, that have us making split-second choices, that have us, calling on ourselves and on our, instincts. And we need to stay strong for that. It brings us then to the public arena. It's the battle. It can feel like I always have to fight. With the Seven of Wands, I always have to fight. I always have to be ready for a fight. I always have to stand strong, be strong. And here's the thing. We have to be ready to defend ourselves. We have to know what we stand for. A lot of the people in this world, we don't know what we stand for. Or they don't know what they stand for. They stand for this one day because everybody agrees with them, and they stand for that the other day because everybody agrees with us, and it goes on and on and on. What we stand for is going to be powerful. It's going to be where we give our energy to. We can't fight every battle, because have you ever tried just moving heavy rocks, okay? Or moving rocks. It can even be small rocks, a bucket of rocks, without ever giving yourself a break. Rocks are heavy. Water, buckets of water, that's heavy. And you never stop, you never give yourself a break. That's what it's like to constantly be on fight mode. You never give yourself a break. You never let yourself recharge. So we have to be mindful. What are we fighting for? What are we fighting towards? What do we want? How are we developing? Where are we moving forward to? And the Three of Swords, this is heartbreak, pain, and disappointment. This is why we feel like we need to fight, because we've been betrayed, we've been hurt, things have gone terribly wrong. And the Three of Swords says, name the hurt. Name the wounds that we have. Be open and honest about them. And then start to release them. Start to take away their power from blocking your flight, from trying to destroy you. And claim back your power. That's what this time is all about. It's about this shift into conditional, unconditional love. Which sounds like an oxymoron, but it is important. There are conditions to my unconditional love. There are conditions to my heart and what I will take and what I won't take and how I will stand by you. Because if you stand by a fool, if you stand by, a cruel person, then are you a fool and a cruel person yourself? I mean, these are questions to be asked. And so here we start to see this. That's so interesting. Let's see what the moon has to say for herself. How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Angels. And when Spirit says, if you stand by a cruel person, or, are you that yourself? It means that if we keep on defending somebody who has been abusive in our lives, who has ripped us down, who wasn't fair, who wasn't kind, who wasn't in our corner, what is that doing to ourselves? And how is that hurting us? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? How will Aquarius be affected by the June 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Fantastic. We have here gratitude. The answers you need are coming. Self-love. Meditate and contemplate. Patience. Expect powerful change. Change. You are good enough. I like this. Gratitude. Through gratitude, through heart, through the expression of soul, the answers we need are coming. So through this sense of acceptance and connection with spirit, with ancient wisdom, we are going to see answers coming our way. Self-love. We need to meditate. We need to contemplate. We need to step into the realm of loving ourselves, of connecting with ourselves, of being a part of who we are. Now, this meditation doesn't mean that we have to sit quietly, though that's very, very beneficial. But if we're not there yet, it can be going for a run and pushing ourselves, like, running so fast that all of a sudden, we just need to stop and catch our breath. And in the moment, we are only in the present. There is nothing more, and there will be nothing less. How do we embrace self-love through this? It's being present within our bodies, present within ourselves, present within what we desire. It's the meditation and the contemplation of who am I? Where do I want to be? How am I moving forward? It can feel like an existential crisis, but there is a sense here of knowing that I am love. I am love and I am connection. And through that love and connection, how do I open my doors? How do I open my heart and my soul to what I need and to who I am supposed to be? Be patient. And expect powerful change. Be patient with the change that is coming. We always expect powerful change. We always expect to be swept away in it, pulled away by it, it just being a whirlwind part of our lives. And then all of a sudden we're different people and everything's awesome. Expect powerful change, but be patient with its developing. And know that each day we're actually moving towards that powerful change. And that powerful change can happen in such a way that it didn't sweep us up. It didn't, knock us off our feet. But it did change who we are quite profoundly. And we can see that from as we look back, at who we were and who we are today, and see the change. The change is also to know that you are good enough. You bring enough to the table. You are enough. Stop beating yourself up. You're good enough sounds flippant. It did to me when I read this card, the full moon in Virgo. I was always like, that's so rude to say you're good enough. It's like a pat on the head and say, okay, go away now. But it's not that. It's saying you are enough. In this moment, in this time, you are enough. And you will be enough as time progresses. And sometimes you will not be enough for certain situations. But you weren't meant to be enough for those. Sometimes we can't change the trajectory of another person's life. We can't save somebody who doesn't want to be saved. We can't stop the hurt and we can't stop the pain. But to know that in the corner of the little world that we're a part of, we should stand tall and proud of who we are and who we will be, guided by spirit, guided by the raising of our energy vibration, and guided by our deeper understanding. It moves us to our subconscious message, to our subconscious chakra message, which is creativity. Again, the sacral chakra coming forward, connecting with our creative and sexual energy, connecting with the positive and negative from this life and past lives that have been brought over, that are weighing us down. How are we creating through pain, through hurt, through disappointment? And how is that hurt, pain, and disappointment infecting, inspiring our creativity? Your subconscious energy to be mindful of is frailed. This is Sagittarius energy. This is to be mindful of the balance, because we're going to tend to swing in one direction or another. The pendulum is going to go this way, to unconditional love, to the embracing of the heart, the home, the self, and then this way to conditional love, to public life, to career, to responsibilities, and we're going to see it go back and forth, and we're going to be consumed either one way or another. We have to find that balance, and we have to find people that have that balance. Even if they don't have that balance all the time, just moments, glimpses of it. That's important. Our subconscious rooted self is lovers. And this is Gemini energy. This is a sense of knowing that there are always at least two opinions to everything. That the road in love and in life is never easy, but it is not something we should give up on. It is honoring the individual for, again, seeing the God's head within them is important. Understanding their energy, their vibration, and understanding how they fit into our world, if they fit into it at all. This is also subconsciously longing at our roots to bring the love, to bring the beauty, to bring the erotic, to bring the sensual back into life. To fall in love with our existence again. It leads us to our subconscious inner self, which is the star, which is us. This is us, Aquarius. And the star here is our dreams and our hopes and our desires, not the ones we cross our fingers for, not the ones we wish upon a star for, but the deep longing of our soul. The wishes we might not even know we have. We can only word them in a certain way, in a seemingly finite way. But Spirit sees the deeper wishes, the deeper desires, the deeper hopes and dreams, and starts to bring them forward in our life. This is the essence of us, at our root, within our inner self. Can we connect with who we are and who we want to be? Or do we miss that? And I have to wait for it to come again, another time. Our subconscious emotional self is the moon. Our hearts are afraid. How do we embrace? How do we let in the subconscious and the conscious? How do we move forward? How do we be disagreeable and confident within ourselves without being jerks? How? How do we face our fears and not let them define us? How do we move forward? How do we love? How do we love others? How do we love ourselves? How do we love others without sacrificing ourselves? How do we embrace what we love and still find it amazing? Our subconscious public arena is the Four of Swords. We need to rest. We need to take care of ourselves. If we keep on pushing, if we keep on fighting without resting, without realizing that sometimes it's just too much to fight. If we don't look at how far we've come and the battles that we have been through, we will miss a beautiful and vital part of who we are. Our subconscious Luna message is growth. The energy is gaining momentum. We are growing because our energy vibration, our desires, our hopes, our dreams, our wishes are gaining momentum. Can we move forward with that momentum that is given to us by this moon? Or do we have to step back just a little bit? All right, Aquarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aquarius, and may you have a blessed moon.